Hi, good evening. Welcome to yet another. So, this is my 10th session of random talking. Today I decided to talk on the topic handwriting scam. Okay, full scam. Before that, this is my Wonder Woman t shirt. Before it fades, I wanted to wear it. So, I've worn it. I don't know how much I can see, but yeah, that's the logo. Yeah. Um, Handwriting scam, okay. When I say handwriting scam, this is the only scam I've been involved in, and my dad keeps telling me, like, the scam, how much of scam I did and all that. So we'll figure out. Third standard flashback, okay. Going back to flashback, third standard. So my teacher, she tells, she's a bad, not so good student. I mean, that's not how it was, but yeah, kind of like that. That was the fact of it. And she told that she can improve on her handwriting. Okay, so that's it. My dad goes to his workplace and he finds a handwriting specialist who came in there. He stayed there for a couple of days. So when I was like, can you please write in a book, like on the A4, 4 lines book, yeah, 4-line book, he made him write, so he brought 2 book full of, the first line so that I can copy that on the other lines. Okay, and also capital letters on one sheet he wrote, and I think we took a print on the other. No, he wrote that on that 200-page book, the entire book he wrote that. So that these things came home, and one big 300 pages long size lined book also he bought, and he's like, now Cheryl, every day from Monday to Saturday, so Sunday is holiday, okay, thankfully that is like a holiday day, so Sunday you don't have to write. Monday to Saturday every day you have to write handwriting. So one is capital letters and one is running handwriting, and there's one more, okay. I don't know what kind of handwriting, but let's say that's like the font in Word, Calibri font in Word document, same like that kind of a writing, okay. So we get started, and ABCD, that capital letters takes me like 15 minutes, and then the A to Z on the A to Z with Calibri handwriting takes me another 10 minutes, and then one whole sheet, that 300 pages book, like both sides I have to write, that will take me around 40 minutes, okay. And I used to write with ink pen, fountain pen was the initially, I think A to Z and all I used to write in what is that, no, I used to write everything in pencil because I was in 4th standard, and when we came to 6th, 5th and 6th I think is when I started writing in ink pen. I used to use stick pen in mid of 5th and like something like that. So stick pen was our favorite thing back. I mean, that was my favorite pen back in the day, and I used to write with so much force that that nib used to come out like flower pot. So yeah. So this started. So if I start the handwriting, so school used to finish by 2:40. I used to be home by 3:30. By 4 o'clock, I used to get started on this, and this used to finish by 5:30, 6 o'clock. So it's like a 1.5 hour I used to take to write slowly, like, why am I doing this? Why could my handwriting be better in life and all that? So I'm doing that, and yeah, so I'm doing this handwriting thing A to Z and all. And 4th standard got over, I became tired, and again in 5th also he got new book and he asked me to copy the same first line, and this went on to 5th standard. Now I'm like super tired, and 6th really the subjects were more, and it was getting too painful to be writing for 1.5 hour, okay, every day. So I was like, I don't like this and all that. And in the meanwhile, when I was writing that, say like both sides page in the 300-page book, I used to write from my English textbook. So, most of the things in the textbook was like by heart for me because I'd written it over and over so many times. That was a good part, okay. Like I could read super fast in class because things were like, I'm writing this. I'm not just reading it. I'm just writing this on book. I mean, yeah, as far as I'm focused, sometimes, there's TV playing, and so we're like watching like that and writing. So that time there's no focus. So this is my handwriting episode, and along with the Sunday. So what happened? Scam part, right? So when I was in 6th standard, I was like, we're writing the same thing, and there's so much homework to do already, and life is so rotten. I'm like writing the same thing, that too in pencil, no. So what I did is, I used to write the date, okay, write the date and that day's, handwriting. It's like we're writing the same A to Z every day. So why not just change the dates? Okay, so I started. My dad, he used to check. He used to check, like, on Sundays he'll check if I've written on all the 7 days, and if any alphabet is out of place, he'll circle that also. Okay, that much attention to detail was there in life. So I was like, okay, then the previous pages I used to, if today's 21st, then I go 21, 20, 19, 18, 17. 6 days I'll change off, behind. So he goes back like 6 days or maximum 10 days. So I'll change till 10 days, and I used to go like that and change everything. So today is 21st, 20, 19, 18, 17. So I used to go like that. And like this, it was going on, okay, nicely. Like, I used to not do it every day. Every day if you do, then it will be like little, that rubbing, that date part will show. And I press and write, so it will be very much visible. So it's like, if it's 6 days in a week is there, 4 days you write, 2 days you don't write. It was like on that basis scam, okay. So then what happened, one fine day, my dad, like usual Sunday, he's checking, Sunday or something, Friday or something he was checking, okay. He kind of looked at everything and he's like, come sit down, I want to talk to you. I was like, of course, we can talk about this. This is what we're doing from 2 years now. So, and then he's like, very nice, everything is very nice. Handwriting and all is improving, and and along with the date I should also write the time, okay, from what time to what time I wrote. And some days if you're like, I have like somebody comes home or something and I move the handwriting part on to a little later, so that timing will show that I had written it a little later. So 10 minutes, how much time I'm taking to write, also like 10 minutes, 15 minutes, all that shows. And my dad's like, you should get faster with time. So every day, and some days it was like 7 minutes, so I've moved from 15 minutes to 7 minutes on some days. That's like, you're getting faster at this. I was like, yeah, you have no idea. You change the date, it's so fast. But that single sheet thing, I have to do it because it was written in pen, I think. I don't remember exactly. I only remember writing it in pen. So that was there perfectly in place. So like that, then he's like, sit down, we'll talk. And we're talking and he's like, so since when did you start writing? So he's like, looked at the one page and he's like, good, this is the date, that's the time you took, good. Next page, he went to the previous page, he's like, good, this is all looking fine, date and time, good. And then after a few pages, he was like, since 19th was 20th was Sunday, from when on did we start handwriting on Sunday? I was like, oh my God, I never noticed that Sundays I don't write. When shifting the date, happily I shifted, like that. I forgot that there's Sunday in between. But I was like, every time you do a crime, there will always be one speck of truth. And I will find that. So that was the scam I did. And that was a huge thing, okay, like at the tender age of 10, you have done this kind of a fraud work and all that. So next beating is there, okay, so you can't run and all. Running around the house will get separate beating for running and making him run behind me. That'll add on to the beating count. So it's like, stand, and then I take the beating. It's like, okay, fine, now we have to write only. So I wrote handwriting. And meanwhile, what happened, Sunday in the church, we used to go to church on Sundays, and we used to have that preaching. So the priest will talk about, preach good things and all that. So I was supposed to listen in the church on Sundays and write that once I get back after Sunday Mass. So, early morning, 7 o'clock Mass, can't even sleep. I have to listen, so focused, and forget listening. You generally tend to forget after listening, like it's nice you heard it once, you'll forget it. I had to come back home, remember it. So all the way when I'm coming back home, it's like a proper penance. I'm trying to recollect. Yes, I remember this. This was told in church. So I have to come back home and I'll be like, I'll write it in a proper small sheet of paper, like, tip-top points. Otherwise, after 10 minutes, I'll forget of what was told. And then I'll be like begging my mom also. So I have to force my mom to listen, because in case I missed out something, she has to help me out in that place. It was like that. Okay. And then what happened is, so I used to write this, Sunday was this report. In between, in 6th 6th, I think we had a new teacher, English teacher. So she told that, diary writing, it will be very much fun. Yeah, so that was the Sunday sermon, and meanwhile, the new teacher, no, so she told us that, there's diary writing, so you can have your own secret diary. You can write all what you do in the day in that diary. That was a huge help for me. Like, you write something and nobody sees and all. So I come home, I told my dad, Daddy, I want a diary. So I want to I was not happy like with writing all this for 2 hours, that I was further including homeworks, and then I was like, I want to write diary. It's to be my own diary, secret diary and all that. That's it, wonderful. It's such a beautiful thing to recollect, the whole day and write it and then go to bed. And after many years when you read it, it will be so much fun. So I told him I want a nice book to write and with all that date and all that. So my dad goes, he gets a huge diary. Okay, it was like one fantastic thing he bought, and in my life I was like, this is the most loveliest thing you bought. So it was like a huge diary. It's little bigger than the A4 size. Okay, little bigger than A4, and it's got that brown leather back. Oh my god, it was too beautiful. And then the first pages had those countries, dates and all those things and information, blood group, name, emergency contacts. So that was the first time I'm seeing a diary like properly, and the good one. Okay, like it looks so pretty. Yeah, I fancy like that. It had a golden, that you are written on golden and all that. So, and my dad said, now you'll write this in one. I told him that calibre handwriting. With that handwriting, every day you write this, and the last part of this, the 5 or 6 lines you have to take, and one column advantages, one more column disadvantages. And then the advantages, what all good things happened that day. So I had bath and all was the good part, okay, like that was what I used to fill there. And disadvantages, like I watched TV for 15 minutes extra, full guilt and all that, like disadvantages. That was a bad part of the day kind of a thing. Okay, and every day has to have a title, okay. So something that went very crazy that day, like let's say morning assembly was great. So, assembly, roasted in assembly. So the sun was too scorching, man, in our school assembly. So roasted in school assembly was one of the headings, and then what all happened that day. And highlights, very few days, okay. Like some days some crazy things happen in school and all, it's fun. So then what happened, my dad said, after you write this, mummy will correct it with red ink pen. You have to write in blue ink pen. And she has to correct it in red ink pen. And after this correction, and she's very good. So my mom's a convent kid, okay. These convent kid children, they're so good in spellings, man. So she's too good in spellings even now. And even now when she reads newspaper, she kind of learns and picks up spellings. That's like, I don't know, good habit, bad habit. Too much, yeah. That is Satyavan Savitri and that is Harishchandra. I am so stuck. So, yeah, she's very good with spellings, and you give her any sheet of paper, she can immediately point out where the spelling mistake is. Such a bad place to be as a student who sucked in spellings, Okay, and then she used to, correct my, punctuations and spacing and all that. And advantages, disadvantages, my dad used to read it every day. I was like, what secret? It's like an open diary. Everybody in the house knows now what I'm doing every day. So it didn't serve my purpose of having a secret diary, but it was nice. And then so we went on this trip, okay, to Delhi. So my dad was like, you'll write diary when you go to the trip also. So when we went to Delhi, we were in the train for 2 days, okay, and 2 days also I'm writing diary. So that normal sleeper coaches, right? So we used to go in sleeper coaches, and there's one thing you can like flip. There's a wooden thing near the window where you can flip and eat your food or meals. So after meals is over for the day, I used to sit down and write the diary. And there was one 6-year-old kid and their parents traveling, and that father was like, "Sisi, Didi likh rahi hai apna." I'm like, yeah, Didi likh rahi hai. You want that kid to follow the same thing on a holiday, on a vacation? I'm writing. I'm writing the story of what happened in the train today. So yeah, it was fun, okay, like to read later on, it was super. Now also it's like super funny. I don't know if I still have, because okay, so this all happened, and diary writing continued, okay, till long time, till 10th, 11th, first PU and all, diary writing continued. But handwriting had to stop, yeah, man. 7th standard and so much to study, so much homework, and stage shows which I was part of, which nobody in the house, I didn't want to tell at home, like, because my dad is like, focus on, what you're doing, there are other things to do and all that. So yeah. So then I was like, how to stop this handwriting? I told one day, I'm not going to write anymore. He's like, I'm going to burn the books. I said, burn it. कौन सा attachment है? Just burn it. So he's like, I'm going to burn, and I'm not happy that you're not writing handwriting. I said, this is it. This is all I can write. Further, I have to write my schoolwork, or I'm failing in school. Tomorrow I have an exam. So even if I have an internal tests, all those tests and all that, he was like, still you have to write handwriting. That's just a daily routine. Who asked you to study on the last day? You can study early only and keep. Correct. You have 365 days. Why are you studying one day before the exam? Study before only and keep off. So you have to write your handwriting, you have to do your diary writing, you have to get that corrected, you have to make sure your mistakes are corrected. So there was no leeway of, tomorrow's exam is no biggie. Tomorrow's exam is just another day. I mean, it's right in logic wise, but it was tragic for, exam giving time. And then once was the question paper thing, okay? So I kind of wrote the answer in my head. So you're reading all these questions. One question, I liked it very much. I was like, this is the tough one. I have learned it. And I was like, I framed the answer in my head. Trust me, I didn't write that answer. So after 7C, so 7A, B, C, 3 questions are there. 8A, I had framed the answer in my head. I wrote it in my head, and I went to 8B, 8C. There is no 8A. I knew the answer and I did not write the 5 marker. And one day I finished the paper. I'm generally slow, okay, so I'll be writing even after everybody finishes. I'm that student. So I'm like, I finished and everybody's still writing, okay. And I came out of the exam, I was like, what were you people writing so much? And then I figured out there was another side to the question paper, and I kind of did not write 20 mark questions. I was like, beautiful. So Abhi, you don't have to think of, getting good marks. It's like out of 100, I've already given up on 20 marks. I've not even seen 20 mark questions. So after that, anytime they give us reading time, I used to first see how much, what's the length of the question paper. I'm like, forget reading the questions. First figure out every side. I have seen every place where questions are there. So that is the first thing I used to do. So yeah, the Sunday sermon writing, on this A4 sheet, what happened, that was a plain white sheet, okay. So plain white A4 sheet is where I used to write the Sunday mass preaching things, okay. And then as like line gap, I started increasing the line gap. So things finish fast, like how much to write, dude? Like fast. And I'm like longer and longer. My dad said, see, single line space. Here you're taking 3 line space after one line to another line. First of all, my handwriting is huge, okay. I write huge. So people in school, they used to copy from my paper because it was very easy to copy from me. They'd be like, just show. And 3 people could copy because that was the font size. I used to write big, okay, big running handwriting. So it was easy for them to see, copy and all that. And so, my font was big generally only, but then again, I started increasing the space so you can reduce the content and finish it fast and all that. And it's like single line space. You see, you mark and everything, and there should be at least minimum 15 lines in this A4 sheet. I was like, can never get out of this. So after that scam, like a date changing scam, I went off to my granny's house for like 4 days or something. So a little bit, it cooled down and I came back. But then my dad kept reminding me every time, every small mistake, he'd be like, that girl, she was just 11 when she did this. I'm like, oh Bhagwan. And yeah, it's been difficult, it's been fun, and I'm very grateful to my teacher, who asked me to write, and my dad, who was very much focused on making me, so I could write better because of my dad. So he asked me to like articulate, and the story comes into me. Even when I'm listening to someone, I can still, get that story in a proper context. Articulating was super fast, and that's about it. So handwriting, the scam of, I don't know which year the scam was. It's not the 1992 definitely, because that's the year my parents got married. So thank you for listening. Have a lovely day ahead. Ta-ta!